With free agency just days away, I'd give my predictions on the top 10 forwards in free agency. I did this list with the guards as well. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But here are the top 10 forwards that are free agents and my predictions on where they'll end up. First up is LeBron James. I have a 40% chance he goes to the Lakers, 30% chance he stays with the Cavs, 15% chance he goes to the Rockets, and a 15% chance he goes to the Sixers. Now, I think as a lot of people know, his son is now in LA, and LeBron has said that his family is a major part of his free agency decision. I know there are a few reports out there that if the Lakers can acquire Kawhi Leonard or any big star, then LeBron would go. Of course, we don't know how true that is, but I think that would make sense. I just think LA right now is probably the best option. I think that he could easily go back to the Cavs. I think staying with the Cavs, in my opinion, is going to be best for his legacy, and I think that is the best option. But still, though, I think he's going to go to LA. And then the Rockets and Sixers, they have the cap space. They also could sign him potentially. Next up is Kevin Durant. I have a 95% chance he goes to the Warriors and a 5% chance he goes to another team like the Lakers or the Thunder. Now, this one's pretty obvious. Kevin Durant wants to be in Golden State, and their owner, I think Bob Myers, is more than willing to pay to keep him. I think at this point, the best thing for KD to do is just go back to the Warriors, probably finish his career there, win another one, two, maybe even three championships, and retire as one of the greatest of all times. Next up is Paul George. I have a 50% chance he goes to the Lakers, 45% chance he stays with the Thunder, and a 5% chance he goes to another team. Now the Lakers, he said that's his preferred destination. I essentially just said that he's going to sign there in free agency. It's a great situation, but reports have come out that him and Russ are really, really good friends, and so that's why I think the Thunder are it's a two-horse race between the Thunder and Lakers, and he could go either place and no one would be surprised. Next up is Aaron Gordon. I have a 45% chance he stays with the Magic, a 35% chance he goes to the Pacers, and a 20% chance he goes to another team. Now, the Pacers are said to be making an aggressive push at him, and I wouldn't be surprised if they offer him a near max contract. However, the Magic have the cap space, and they have bird rights, and he's a restricted free agent, which is why I think he's going to go back to the Magic. Still, though, I wouldn't be surprised if there's another team like the Suns or maybe the Jazz that offer him a near max contract, and the Magic just don't want to match it. Next up is Julius Randle. I have a 75% chance he stays with the Lakers, 15% chance he goes to the Mavs, and a 10% chance he goes to another team. No, I think Julius Randle wants to stay in LA, and I think LA wants him. So that's why they're at 75%. I'd be surprised if he goes anywhere else. Still, though, the Mavs have been linked to him, and obviously the Mavs are going after DeMarcus and DeAndre Jordan, but if they miss both of them, Julius Randle is going to be the number one priority for them. Next up is Trevor Ariza. I have a 65% chance he stays with the Rockets, 15% chance he goes to the Sixers, and a 20% chance he goes to another team. Now, it's tough to say how much money Ariza is going to get in free agency. He's asking for a 4 or 5 year deal worth about $50 or $60 million. I don't think he's going to get that. I think he's going to get around 10 million at the most, and probably around the full mid-level exception, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if really any team gets him. I think the Rockets ultimately will just sign him on bird rights and, you know, of course, just pay the luxury tax and re-sign him. The Sixers could, and another team again, they could use their full MLE to sign him, but I see him going back to the Rockets. Next up is Jabari Parker. I have a 70% chance he stays with the Bucks, 20% chance he goes to the Pacers, and a 10% chance he goes to another team. Now, I don't really think he's the right fit in Milwaukee, but the Bucks need a lot of help. They need scoring, and Jabari brings scoring. They have him on bird rights, and he's a restricted free agent. I would assume they're going to offer him some money, or honestly, I would expect the Suns actually to offer him somewhat of a large contract, but I expect the Bucks to just match the deal and keep him. The Pacers I put in there, if they don't get Aaron Gordon, then I think Jabari Parker is going to be next on their priority list. Next up is Kyle Anderson. I have a 90% chance he stays with the Spurs and a 10% chance he goes to another team. Now, the reason I have him staying with the Spurs is because San Antonio always pays extra to keep their players. Pau Gasol got a 3-year, $48 million contract with a team option, which is way above market value. Patty Mills got a 4-year, I think $50 million contract, which again, just above market value. And I think they're going to do the exact same with Kyle Anderson. I think they'll overpay for him just to keep him on their team. But, of course, there is the possibility that another team will offer him a contract and he wants to go there. Still, though, he is restricted, so I really don't see him going anywhere else. Next up is Michael Beasley. I have a 30% chance he goes to the Jazz, 30% chance he stays with the Knicks, and a 40% chance he goes to any other team. Now, I think Beasley's going to want a long-term contract to stay with a team, and I expect him maybe to stay with the Knicks, again, maybe the Jazz. I think he had a good time on the Knicks. I think they would like him. I think he might sign a multi-year contract to stay with them. I can see the Jazz, though. They do need some wing help, and they have that. They definitely have the cap space to sign him. Still, though, Beasley's one of those guys. He could go anywhere, and that's why the majority is any other team, really. Next up is Lance Stephenson. I have a 50% chance he goes to the Spurs, 20% chance he goes to the Rockets, and a 30% chance he goes to another team. The reason I have him going to the Spurs is that he just seems like a San Antonio type of player. He's a team player. He's a defensive-minded guy. He's pretty versatile. He can score the basketball somewhat efficiently. And, he's a good playmaker as well. Still, though, he's a guy that I could really see him going to a lot of other places. I said the Rockets because Ariz is asking for a lot of money, as I said, and I think Lance Stephenson could be a guy to replace him. Obviously, he is not as good a shooter, but I could see him stepping in and being somewhat a replacement. Still, though, it's somewhat unknown where he's going to go. So those are my predictions for where the top 10 forwards will end up this free agency. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below where you think these guys are going to end up.